hello. Shall we get started? The next morning, Jean saw dawn for the first time. It began not as the gorgeous fanfare over the ocean he had expected, but as a strange gray thing, like sunshine seen through burlap. Jean looks over to see if Phineas is awake. He is still asleep, although in the strained light he looked more dead than asleep. The ocean looked dead too, dead gray waves hissing mordantly along the beach, which gray and dead-looking itself.
Best night's sleep I've ever had.
When did you ever have a bad one?
The time I broke my ankle in football. I like the way the beach looks now. Shall we have a morning swim?
Are you crazy? It's too late for that.
Look, what time is it anyway?
It's going on 7 o'clock.
Now it's time for a short swim.
Oh, okay. Before Jean could say anything, Phineas was trotting down the beach and into the ocean.
And she looks like a ship.
Jean waited where he was, and Finny came back after a while, full of chilly glow, energy, and talk. They biked back to Devon, just in time for Jean's test, but he flunked it. He knew he was going to as soon as he looked at the test problems. It was the first test he had ever flunked. Finny gave him little time to worry about that. Right after lunch, there was a game of blitzball, which took most of the afternoon. And right after dinner, there was a meeting of the Super Suicide Society of the summer session. Later in their room, Jean was trying to catch up on the trigonometry he missed.
You work too hard. You know all about history and English and French. What good will trigonometry do you?
I'll have to pass it to graduate for one thing.
Don't give me that line. Nobody at Devon has ever been surer of graduating than you are. You aren't working for that. You want to be the head of the class, valedictorian, so you can make a speech on graduation day, in Latin or something boring like that probably, and be the boy wonder of the school. I know you.
Don't be stupid. I wouldn't waste my time on anything like that.
You never waste your time. That's why I have to do it for you.
Anyway, someone's got to be head of the class.
You see, I knew that's what you were aiming at.
Phooey.
What if I was? It was a pretty good goal to have, it seemed to me. After all, he should talk. He had won and been proud to win the Galbraith football trophy and the contact sport award. And there were 2 or 3 other athletic prizes he was sure to get this year or next. If I was head of the class on graduation day and made a speech and won the Ne Plus Ultra Scholastic Achievement citation, then we would both have come out on top. We would be even. That was all. We would be even. Was that it? If I was head of the class and won that prize, then we would be even. Even! Even! Ha!
Relax. Your brain will explode if you keep this up.
You don't need to worry about me, Finny.
I'm not worried.
You wouldn't mind if I wound up head of the class, would you?
Mine? Fair chance you've got it anyway with Chet Douglas around.
But you wouldn't mind, would you?
I'd kill myself out of jealous envy.
I believed him. The joking manner was a scream. I believed him. He minded, despised the possibility that I may be head of the school. Ah!
There was a swift chain of explosions in Jean's brain. One certainty after another blasted. Up like a detonation went the idea of any best friend. Up went affection and partnership and sticking by someone and relying on someone absolutely in the jungle of a boys' school. Went up the hope that there was anyone in this school, in this world, whom he could trust.
Finny had deliberately set out to wreck my studies. That explained blitzball. That explained the nightly meetings of the Super Suicide Society. That explained his insistence that I share all his diversions. The way I believe that you're my best friend, Blabber. Sure, he wanted to have everything with me, especially his possession of D's in every subject. That way he, the great athlete, would be way ahead of me. It was all cold trickery. It was calculated. It was all enmity!
Jean became quite a student after that. He had always been a good one, although he wasn't really interested and excited by learning itself, the way Chet Douglas was. Now he became not just good, but exceptional, with Chet Douglas's only rival in sight. Oh, my glasses. All right. August arrived with the deepening of all the summertime splendors of New Hampshire. Early in the month, there were 2 days of light, steady rain which arose, and a final fullness everywhere. But examinations were at hand. Gene wasn't as ready for them as he wanted to be. The Suicide Society continued to meet every evening, and Gene continued to attend because he didn't want Finney to understand him as well as he did. A French examination was announced for one Friday late in August. Gene went to the room after supper to try to study. Finney came in a couple of minutes later. Gene is studying his textbook when Finney barges in.
Arise! Senior Overseer Charter Member Elwin Lepper Lapellier has announced his intention to make the leap this very night to qualify to save his face at last.
Gene didn't believe it for a second. He thought Lepper would go down paralyzed with panic on any sinking troop ship before making such a jump, and Finney had to have put him up to it to finish him for good on the exam.
If he jumps out of the tree, I'm a hot Gandhi.
All right, come on, let's go. We've got to be there. You never know. Maybe he will do it this time.
Oh, for God's sake!
What's the matter?
Studying. Studying? You know, books, work, examinations.
Yeah?
Oh, for God's sake! You don't know what I'm talking about. No, of course not. Not you. Okay, we go. We watched Little Lily Liver Lapellier not jump from the tree, and I ruined my grade.
You want to study?
Never mind. Forget it. I know. I joined the club. I'm going. What else can I do?
Don't go. Nice day. Don't go. What the heck? It's only a game.
What do you mean? Who are you then?
I didn't know you needed to study. I didn't think you ever did. I thought it just came to you.
If I need to study, then so do you.
Me? Listen, I could study forever and never break a seat. But it's different for you. You're good. You really are. If I had a brain like that, I'd have my head cut open so people could look at it.
Now wait a second.
I know. We kid around a lot and everything, but you have to be serious sometimes about something. If you're really good at something, I mean, if there's nobody or hardly anybody who's as good as you are, then you've got to be serious about that. Don't mess around, for God's sake. Why didn't you say you had to study before? Don't move from that desk. It's going to be all A's for you.
Wait a minute.
It's okay. I'll oversee old Lepper. I know he's not going to do it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm coming.
No, you aren't, pal. You're going to study.
Never mind my studying.
You think you've done enough already?
Yes.
They walked across the campus, Finney talking in French to give Gene a little extra practice. They reached the tree, and everyone is waiting there.
Thanks. Let's go, you and me. We're going together.
None of this mattered to Gene anymore. He could have listlessly agreed to anything. They started up the wooden rungs. They got to the limb, high over the bank, and they ventured out a little way, holding on to a nearby branch for support.